Now that you've seen the animation Daughter and had a chance to discuss your observations, you can begin to see the difficulties faced by a child who has experienced sexual abuse when it comes to disclosure. She really wanted to share her trauma to get help, but everywhere she turned, things just got worse for her. The disclosure of sexual abuse is a sensitive and critical matter that requires appropriate action by teachers. Responding in a supportive, empathetic and responsible manner is crucial for the well-being and safety of the child. And those trying to combat sexual abuse in the community, whether that's the police, prosecution, DSWD or even another family member, as teachers we have the duty of care to love and protect our children, and how we handle disclosures is a very important aspect of that protection. I'm going to talk you through the essential steps for handling disclosures of sexual abuse in a school setting. After that, I'll briefly touch on some tips for how you handle the actual disclosure setting. Now, let's talk about recognizing the signs of abuse. Children rarely just volunteer their abuse to anyone, but there are some signs that indicate that a child is suffering from the effects of sexual abuse, even if they don't speak out about it. These signs may include changes in behavior, sudden decline in academic performance, withdrawal, anxiety, depression, or unusual fear of certain individuals. Each of these in an isolated way may not mean that abuse is taking place, but they are indicators to help educators like you to see that something might not be right at home. It's important at this stage to know your school's policies and procedures when it comes to reporting abuse. You, as teachers, also have legal obligations to comply with mandatory reporting laws and guidelines. Now, you might not be able to make notes during the disclosure itself, as you're focusing on the well-being of the child. However, as soon as possible afterwards, note down as much detail as possible what you understand to have been disclosed with the date, name of the student, and your name. This should then be part of your reporting to the school regarding the matter. This will both protect you and might help the student and the school process this new information. In the notes, document the detail of the disclosure in a clear, factual and objective manner. Include the location where this was disclosed and any observable signs or behaviours, especially ones that are different to the typical behaviour of that child. Now, engage supportive resources is also an important part of this. You need to involve the school counsellor or school psychologist. Get guidance from mental health professionals to provide immediate support to the student. Don't carry this by yourself. You can contact the DSWD and report the abuse to the Child Protection Services. And you can involve other agencies and law enforcement, medical professionals and others that will help support you in this disclosure. At some point you will need to communicate with the parents or guardians. This will be done with the knowledge of the school principal, and you might specifically be asked to inform the student's parents about the disclosure, especially if there's not a risk in doing so. And you need to emphasize the need for their involvement and support through this process. You will also need to inform them of any action you might have had to take, including informing the police. And then you need to provide ongoing support, maintain open communication with the student, provide continuous support and guidance throughout the investigative and recovery process. Okay, that's a lot. There's probably 1,000 things going through your head, from trying to remember your school's child protection policy to asking the right questions. Should you be asking questions at all? Well, no matter how anxious you're feeling right now, it's worth remembering that most young people only choose to talk to someone they really trust. So chances are you're already doing something right. Whatever the situation, here are a few simple things you can do to create a safe space for a better conversation. The first thing is to create a safe and supportive environment. We'll go into more detail in a later video, but I'm mentioning it now because it's important that your school should strive to create a place that's trusting and open within the confines of the school, where your students feel comfortable about sharing difficult experiences. In addition to safe spaces, building strong relationships with students can encourage them to disclose any abuse that they may have suffered. Once you're in a safe environment, it is still important to note that for some children, talking about abuse can be scary. They may have been eager to talk at first, but as they begin to disclose, they become shy and withdrawn. At this stage, you need to show them that you care about them and that you are listening to what they say. This can be as simple as changing your body language to avoid anything and avoiding anything that might distract you or seem distant, like checking your cell phone or looking away. Be present for them. Don't rush them. Take your time. Remind them that there is no rush. This chat might only be a small part of the disclosure. They could just be testing the water, so let them go at their own pace. Even if the gaps in the conversation feel awkward to you, it's their story. Give them time to tell it. Next, reflect back using their words to clarify that you understand. Simply go through what they've told you already. If possible, use their own language. The specific words that they use are an important part of the narrative. Although it's easy to jump to conclusions or even solutions right now, they just need to feel listened to. Resist the urge to question them or make conclusions or absolute statements. When you respond to a disclosure, we should try to stay calm, reassure the student that they did the right thing by sharing their experience. Let the student know that you validate their feelings and experiences. Hold back from placing blame or making judgments. Focus on the student's well-being and safety. And express understanding and compassion for the student's situation. Emphasize that safety and well-being are of utmost importance. Maintain confidentiality. Now, confidentiality is not secrecy. You can keep a child's disclosure actually, you cannot keep a child's disclosure secret. However, to build trust and confidence, you can assure them of confidentiality, that you will only share the information with people who are there to help them. A lot of this doesn't come natural to us, I know, especially in the busyness of our daily lives, where we want to just get to the bottom of something. But it's really important for their sakes not to be eager to jump ahead with anything. Just listen, acknowledge, summarize what you hear. Tell them what you've heard, and tell them that you have heard them, and tell them what you're going to do with the information that you've shared within reason. Finally, I would highly recommend practicing these techniques on a non-disclosure activities. In everyday life, start making a habit of when someone is telling you a story to slow down, reflect back. This just won't just make you a better listener, but it'll also prepare you for when disclosure does happen. It could change a young person's life. Handling disclosures of sexual abuse in schools requires a compassionate, well-informed and coordinated approach to ensure the safety and well-being of the student. As educators, you play a critical role in providing a safe and supportive environment for students to disclose their experiences and guide them through the necessary steps for reporting recovery. But you can do it.